Hi, Laura.
Hi, Stephanie. You made it.
We we've made it through eclipse season.
How are you doing?
Well, we're one day post second eclipse, so we're recording this on September 22nd, the fall equinox here in the northern hemisphere.
Oh my gosh, I totally didn't even realize that.
Well, how could you? It's nonstop. I like right before we started recording, we were just talking about how completely nonstop this eclipse season is. Like we know eclipse seasons are intense and they speed up events and there's unpredictable events, but my God.
hmm And we tried not to fearmonger, but we did say that this eclipse season was going to be gnarly. We did say that.
Yeah, we're like the first one's potentially cute and the next one
Yeah.
is just bad news.
But it ended up being not as cute too. And when I look back at the lunar eclipse and it was trine to its ruler, trines actually make things happen whether you like them or not, whether they are good or bad or not, right? So during that eclipse, so many people I know lost a family member. A lot of people experienced a death.
And it was the ruler of that eclipse looking back in retrospect. Hindsight's always, what do they say, 2020 or something like that.
Mhm.
Um, the ruler of the eclipse was Jupiter in Cancer being squared by Mars in Libra. So it's like
Yes.
that's not super cute.
No,
Yeah.
it was intense.
Hmm.
Yeah, and an exalted planet also it I think fortifies things. So yeah, looking at hindsight, I did I mean, I think for some people great things did happen, right? We're talking to a collective, but I think for the most part, um having it be a north node eclipse in Pisces, trying to its ruler, I think, and we've talked about how we've seen Jupiter in a lot of death charts
Hmm.
because it's the ultimate like freedom
Hmm.
aspect and transit. So we hope that all of you survived and that you take October to integrate everything that that went down in September. In terms of the news stories, on September 1st is when Saturn re-entered the sign of Pisces. And so again, we have this like really heavy energy, right? It was at the anaretic degree. The next day on September 2nd, this is when the Italian dock workers threatened to shut down all of Europe if the Gaza flotilla was being blocked. And they're still at sea,
Yeah.
right? Like
Yes. Yes.
this just feels like a longer trip this
Yeah.
time.
And you found a synchronicity to the September 2nd dock workers threat, right? As of today, on
Yes.
September 22nd,
Yes, they literally multiple cities in Italy shut down for Gaza. And you
the
mentioned,
unions.
yeah, the unions. You mentioned that this eclipse was opposing Saturn. So it's winking back to September 2nd when they threatened to shut it down, like the dock workers. And then today they shut down Italy.
Yep. And we're having that very powerful, the sun, the illuminator, shining a light on Saturn when it re entered that same point in the sky. So it really is like echoing back to that same day.
I do find the astrology from the eclipse to today really interesting because in that eclipse, the eclipse was at an eneric degree, and so was Mars. And so today we're at the equinox, right? The sun is at the world point, 0 point in Libra, opposing Neptune, and then Mars entered Scorpio,
Yep.
and it's applying to a square to Pluto. So it just feels like, right? Like
Yeah.
something the
Something's
eclipse is
building.
like building, something is building.
Yeah.
On Okay, so there was a couple of aspects that led to these next news stories. On September 3rd, Mercury in Virgo was square Uranus and Gemini at 1 degree. Then the very next day, Mars in Libra squared Jupiter in Cancer at 18 degrees. And the Epstein victims on September 4th, they all came out with their own news broadcast saying that they would create their own list. I thought that was super powerful. And did you get to see that?
Yeah, I love that. Like, bring it on. This is
Yeah.
exactly the type of. And then I think there were even certain, I saw a clip of a certain Republican, either from the House or the Senate, who said that they would read the list on the Senate floor, I believe, because when you read something on the Senate floor, you can't get like arrested for it. So, like, um, the victims, if they were to read the list, they could be hit with defamation
Mhm.
or like that type of lawsuit. But if a member of the government reads the list in the chamber on the floor, then they're exempt from,
Ooh,
yeah.
that feels very Mars and Libra square Jupiter and Cancer.
Hmm.
Like taking action in like a law, right? Against against the status quo.
Hmm.
And then Mercury in Virgo, like an exalted Mercury and squaring Uranus and Gemini, that felt very, you know, kind of a shock value that all these Epstein victims came out and were like, we're gonna do our own list,
Yes,
bitch.
it was so Uranian, and I love to see it.
Yeah, that's the way to use astrology.
Mhm.
On September 5th, the US government restored the name US Department of War from Defense. And when I looked this up, actually, it used to be called the Department of War. Back in August 7th, 1789, President George Washington at the time signed a law into bill establishing the U.S. Department of War to oversee the operations and maintenance of military and naval affairs. And this was after the American Revolution. So this was a Pluto and Aquarius time period. So
Ooh.
now that it's retrograde right now, for our Pluto in Aquarius time, they restored the name. How wild is that?
Astrology is the best. So wild. And also like disgusting move, but also say the quiet part out loud, right? Like we're colonizers.
Mhm.
That's
It's
like
more accurate of a name.
that's what I'm saying. Like it's not a
Yeah.
Department of Defense. Be
Yes.
real.
Yes. They're just really just being loud about it now. They're not hiding it.
Mhm.
On September 6th, Uranus stationed retrograde at 1 degree. And on this day, 400 Hyundai workers were arrested and detained by ICE in Georgia. But what was so interesting about this story was that apparently the whistleblower was this white woman in Georgia who was running for office. And she was basically saying that on TikTok that she was the one who called ICE on these workers, and she was working with a migrant worker to basically like spy in this plant to see the working conditions, which apparently are terrible. And I guess what it actually exposed, like the Uranus, the shock factor of all of these people being detained is, I think, Uranus, right?
Yeah.
It was the largest raid done by ICE so far. But then people found out that these 400 workers were on a work visa to essentially train American workers because that plant was going to open. It hadn't opened yet, and it was going to provide like 8,000 jobs in Georgia. And so now they're not going to open the plant anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yikes.
And uh many of the workers who were detained were from South Korea, right?
Yeah, they were on a work visa.
Yeah.
So they weren't my immigrants, basically.
Yeah.
They were
Yeah.
coming here to try to live or anything. They were just here to train
Uh,
American workers because the instructions are in Korean.
yeah, yeah. And I think we should like also, I just saw news of some of those workers arriving back in South Korea talking about how they were treated
Yes.
by ICE. They were forced to drink water off the ground.
Mm-hmm.
They were chained together. They were forced to sleep on moldy mattresses.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I mean, we have to elevate these parts of the story because it's happening day in and day out. It's happening right now as we speak.
Mm-hmm.
And it's important to know like the conditions and the
Yeah.
way that we're treating humans in this
Human
country for
beings.
people who came here legally on a visa.
Yes. And now I think the South Korean government is looking into, I don't know what they're going to do. I think they're looking into human rights violations in the United States.
Yep.
And so there's like so many layers to this, right? There is, because a lot of people were saying the South Koreans in Georgia voted for Trump. That is true, right? Because of the model minority myth. And that's true. Then there's a second layer where these weren't immigrants, they were workers on a work visa who are Korean citizens. And also, there are migrants working in these conditions today who are from like South American countries, Central American countries that don't just get to go home.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like the South Korean government sent a chartered plane to pick up their citizens. And that's not the case for a lot of people who do work in these factories in these harsh conditions. So there's like so many layers of like nuance and privilege and like who is a citizen, who is on a work visa, who has to come here because their country doesn't have the same kind of funds. You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. So I think the Uranus like initial shock, then when you looked into it, was like a deeper, darker story.
Yeah.
And this happened the day before a lunar eclipse in Pisces that happened on September 7th. The next day, Nepal's Gen Z led protests against a corrupt government, and it forced the prime minister to resign. At the time, 20 young people, but I'm sure there's more now, who were murdered, who were peacefully protesting. And this is after, what was it, Indonesia was
Hmm.
like August. That happened in August.
Yeah, it was a little bit before this.
Yeah. And then today, we're filming this on September 22nd. The Philippines
Yep.
are now protesting. So I heard people saying this is Southeast Asia's version of the Arab Spring, and it kind of feels that way. I think um, the the working class global majority is fighting back.
I think we need to be taking some notes from the global south.
Yes, we do.
Mhm.
And on September 9th, so we're like, this is like eclipse energy. September 9th, Israel bombed Qatar, which is crazy because they were the people, they were the country, the mediators for HMAS. I don't know if I'm even allowed to say their name. HMAS and the Israeli government for peace talks.
They bombed after uh they bombed 5 countries within a week period.
Yes. Yes.
Insane. Can you imagine if
Insane.
any other country did that? Bombed 5 different countries and was
Yeah.
just like, whatever.
And they bombed the flotillas, right?
Yep. They sent drones.
They sent drones to bomb the flotillas. Yeah, it's crazy. But it's also crazy because they bombed the one country mediating the
Yep.
peace talks.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
was like, clearly they're sending a message they don't want peace.
Yeah. Yeah.
Jesus. Okay, so the next day, September 10th,
Oh boy.
do I even want to say his name?
No, don't say his name.
Okay.
He doesn't deserve it.
The right-wing Christian influencer that was murdered that day. And this was, so there were multiple things, right? There was the eclipse, There was the sun conjunct the south node, and then the next day was Mercury conjunct the south node. The moon just entered Taurus, and in medical astrology, Taurus rules the neck and the throat. And the moon was applying to a square to Pluto, the god of the underworld. And when I looked at his chart, he had a 21-degree Libra sun, and Mars was on his sun. So it was
Mm.
like very literal.
Mm-hmm.
And he was infamously quoted by saying, quote, gun deaths, unfortunately, are worth it to keep the Second Amendment.
Mm-hmm.
So be careful what you say around the eclipse
He
time.
had a lot of notable quotes. He
He had
also,
a crazy digital footprint, let me just
yeah,
say.
yeah, yeah. He also said that if his young daughter were to get pregnant by being raped, that he would make her keep it.
Yes, he
And
did.
he's also said many horrific racist things as well.
Yes. Yes. He said terrible things that are like cemented in history because you could just like look them up, which is
Hmm.
wild to me.
Hmm.
And this kind of was so interesting because it was the sun in Virgo conjunct the south node, right? So the sun represents a leader. He was a leader for the right wing, like young podcast bro who are more conservative, and the south node literally like taking out his light. And then it sparked this whole debate online about empathy and who deserves empathy. And some women, some non-melanated women being like, how dare you, this is a young man who's a father, and he had a daughter. So it's so interesting just like observing how people were reacting to look at your face.
Sorry for anyone.
It's like the Virgo can't get
Yeah, I, I,
you're
I,
like disgusted.
I'm disgusted for anyone listening to the audio version. Um, yeah, I'm flabbergasted about what this has turned into. Like,
I
I
think that
did
was the point, right?
that was the point. That was
Yeah.
the point. Um, but he literally was quoted saying he doesn't believe in empathy.
It's new age.
Yeah.
It's a new age concept, he said.
Yeah. I just
Yeah. So interesting. And he was 31, so he was in eighth house year,
mm,
which so is Donald J. Trump, and so is Melania and Barron, if anybody needs that kind of information.
mm.
Um, but I'm also in an eighth house year.
You're gonna be just fine.
It doesn't literally mean death, but it can sometimes, like this,
Hmm.
you know?
Hmm.
And that's why I always try to be a good person. I always pray. I'm like, please protect me.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so we'll see how this unfolds because I don't think this story is over. I feel like they're going to make him a martyr. They already did.
We're
His
in the middle of it.
Yeah, his funeral actually happened yesterday on the solar eclipse in Virgo, which I think the timing is all too convenient.
Yeah, it felt like you were saying like a ritual, like a mass.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it did. Like looking at those photos, it just looked so cultish. Like
Mm-hmm.
the emotions pouring out of people. It just felt I've just never like I felt it energetically from looking at the photos and I was like,
Mm-hmm.
"Whoa, for this person?"
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Yeah, I think he represented an archetype of a leader that most conservative MAGA people look up to, right? He's a cis hetero white man, young, and he's their martyr. I mean,
He
he is their form of like Jesus, I
yeah,
guess.
he embodies whiteness.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And on September 17th, Jimmy Kimmel's show gets canceled. On this day, Mercury in Virgo was opposite Saturn retrograde in Pisces at 28 degrees. And this was also like we're now in the like the eclipse energy. And I thought that was so literal, like Mercury opposite Saturn. it's like, okay, your show's done.
Yes. And Jimmy Kimmel was born with his Uranus, the planet of surprise, at 28 degrees of Virgo. So this aspect was happening right on top of his natal Uranus, which
Mhm.
would have brought some sort of sudden end of a contract, right?
Ooh,
Mercury, Saturn, Uranus.
yes.
Yeah.
But have no fear, he's coming back on September
Mhm.
23rd. And this is also an ongoing story of Uranus and Gemini because Stephen Colbert also lost his job about a month ago. And in our, I think, July monthly forecast, Stephanie mentioned that the last Uranus and Gemini was when broadcast news became like a nightly thing, right?
Yep.
And so in this return, I feel legacy news is going to change in a major way. And I think this is just like the beginning of it. And apparently, he didn't even really say anything about the right wing influencer. He more so criticized Donald Trump for his lack of empathy.
Yeah.
That's what got him canceled.
Yep. Yep. I mean, it's just we know censorship is real. And like, I think back in, I believe it was March with Mahmoud Khalil when all of this started to happen and he was kidnapped, we started being loud about that and letting people know like this is a sliding scale. Like this is going to be very, very bad. Like
Mhm,
he's just exercising his free speech, free Palestine,
mhm.
and he was still kidnapped. He's still in the throes of that. I think during eclipse season, another judge announced that they want to deport him.
Yes, to Algeria, I think.
Yeah, he's a citizen there
Mhm.
or Syria, they said as well. Um, so it like it all matters. Like, and this Jimmy Kimmel, I think for a lot of like white people are like, oh my God, this is nuts. Censorship. It's like, no, this has been going on. And of course it's been going on before Mahmoud Khalil, but like that was also a huge turning point, I think, where people were like, whoa, or should have been more aware of like, you can't even say free Palestine.
Yeah. Yeah, when they come for the rich white man, you know that
It's BAD.
serious.
Yeah.
I forget what for monthly forecast it was. You might want to like look into that. It was during the Mars retrograde when we looked at Mars transiting through Trump's 12th house. And that was the same thing that
Mm,
happened to Adolf Hitler, right?
yes.
And how he rose to power and how slowly they would censor things, they would deport people. So, like we're just, that was also the last time Uranus was in Gemini was World War II. So we're just like establishing a pattern for everybody, again, to prepare yourself and to fight back. This isn't a time to be in despair, but do something, you
Yeah.
know?
And I think also on the same vein, I believe it was September 15th in Florida, they announced that they were going to bring a bill or a resolution to the House that anyone who has spoken out for Palestine, a US citizen, if this
Mhm.
bill passes, they could have their passport
Oh, that's right.
revoked.
Yes.
And
All
I
that.
I think they either voted on it yesterday or today. I haven't heard any like follow-up news from that, but like hello censorship, like
Mhm.
you would automatically be deemed a terrorist. And oh my God, what they're doing to trans people as well.
Mhm. Mhm.
They're in the process of designating trans people and allies as terrorists. I forget what the acronym is. It's like N. Do you remember what it is?
No, no, but I saw that today.
Yeah.
Um, trans people.
It's just more important than ever, especially whatever your intersectionality is, your privileges are. It's so important than ever that we use our voices. And oh my gosh, there was a lynching. Trey Reed, like
Oh,
there,
yes. What was that? That
that
was
was on September 15th.
yeah, that was around the same time as the white man influencer. I can't say his name.
Yeah, yeah.
And the juxtaposition of the response too, like they weren't even reporting that on the news.
Yes. And Colin Kaepernick is going to pay for an independent autopsy because
Mhm.
the police
They said that they
station,
killed himself.
yeah, they said that this black man hung himself in a very in the middle of campus. He allegedly had broken legs and arms. This did not happen. This was a murder. Um, and you can email or call the police station in Cleveland, Mississippi. And the
Ooh.
information is on my Instagram if you would like to do it. It takes
Ooh.
3.5 minutes of your time if you're tuning in. So please.
Ooh. Ooh, that's a good tip. Um, Thank you for reminding me of those news stories. Um, Trey Reed was so young. He was like 21, right? He was a college
Yeah.
student.
Yeah.
And yeah, a lot of stuff going on with oppressing us even more. But honestly, I think it's so laughable that they are so pressed by us that they want to take away our passports. They're like, we can't even say free Palestine. So it just shows their weakness
Hmm.
because they need to colonize Palestine so badly for their empire, you know? It's just to extract resources.
Hmm.
They're so scared. Ha ha ha. Um So on September 21st, which was the solar eclipse in Virgo, that was that right-wing influencer's funeral. It was televised. The Philippines protested because the Philippines has been really hit with climate crisis. They've been floods. And instead of using that money to actually build the infrastructure for floods, all that money is going to like the politicians and they're all getting rich. And so they are protesting their government.
They've been stealing the money. And
They've been
so,
stealing money,
yeah,
yeah.
the citizens have just been like dying and dealing with, these horrific natural disasters, climate disasters. And it's just beautiful to see. It's inspiring that they're fighting back.
Mm-hmm. And if you think about it, we also here in the US have been going through climate crisis. We had the Helene in Asheville, we had the fires in LA. I feel like the hurricane zones go through this like every year. And people ask me, or people say, like, why aren't we doing in Nepal, or why aren't we doing in Indonesia? Because these are collectivist countries.
Hmm.
Like we're not. We
Yeah.
have something called racism.
Hmm.
So we really need to like be real here and
It's
band
going,
together.
it's going to take a lot of work, conscious work on the behalf of racist white people.
Mhm.
So keep
But
having those conversations.
yeah, and racism also is in every culture too.
Yeah.
Not to give a pass to the white people, but like, colorism and white
Yeah.
supremacy lives also in people of the global majority. So it's really like looking at your own internalized white supremacy, doing the anti-racism work, and just continuing to be committed to that because clearly, like, we don't have universal health care because of anti-blackness.
Hmm.
And like it's like we could literally have all these wonderful things. I literally had like a meltdown about like the fact that we don't have basic care in this country, but all of our money goes to this genocide. And it's
Yep.
just so like psychotic to me that so many people know, or so many people don't know this, but know this, and we're still going about our day like we're supposed to pretend like everything's okay. And that's what gets me so angry.
Well, and our money pays for their free healthcare.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Hmm.
Oi. So the last part, which I already mentioned, on September 23rd, Jimmy Kimmel will return on air. And so that story happened very quickly. He was canceled. He's back on air. Yay for him. And we
But
shall,
we'll see, right? Like,
yeah, we shall
who
see.
knows what kind of content he's going to be making? Who knows if they originally said like he had to apologize to Charlie Kirk's family and make a donation to Turning Point? Like, ew, did he do that? Like, who knows what the next developments are, you know?
Yeah. Well, he even tweeted that like nobody should be celebrating his death. He did write that. So I don't know why they were so like bent out of shape about it. He was actually just making fun of Trump.
Right.
Um, but also, you just brought up Turning Point. I did see that the Department of Education is teaming up with Turning Point.
Hmm.
And I mean, why not?
Sloane's getting homeschooled. Let me tell you. Oh my God. I go through I that was part of my eclipse story was like just like in Virgo fashion. I was like, oh, like how am I gonna like focusing on my career and then being a mom and like I show up on social media and these bursts and then I can't. And anyways, that personal, that was like part of my eclipse story, just having these frustrations and trying to find a balance. But like literally with I found that out too. I saw that and I was like, no, like kiss it goodbye. This is just gonna have to be the way it is. Like she's gonna get homeschooled. I'm not gonna I'm not sending her to oh my
You're gonna
God.
teach her like how to make spells and potions,
Yes, yes, that will be
which is
her.
honestly way more useful these days.
Yeah, yeah.
Clearly.
How to hex the patriarchy 101.
Yes,
Yes.
please. That is amazing. No, honestly, I'm just like, what do kids even learn these days? Like, are they teaching them the real history even? Like, I don't even know.
No, it's white people history,
It's like there's
watered down.
Thanksgiving as like kumbaya.
You're still making little pilgrim hats, probably,
God,
right?
that is diabolical.
Mm-hmm.
Um, should we get into October?
Yes.
Okay. So October, I feel like October is a good month to integrate and to kind of like get back on track. Um, right? Like
It
not as
feels
spicy.
Yeah, sure. There's going to be some moments of tension, but I think all in all, it feels much better than eclipse season. I think there's definitely some sweet spots, some moments of healing, and um, the lunations are
Mhm.
interesting. So,
Yeah.
and they're happening in Libra and Aries, which we'll obviously talk about. And it's the
Mhm.
first time that they're not eclipses.
Yes, that is true.
So
Mhm.
we'll get into that.
Okay, so October 1st, Mercury in Libra will square Jupiter in Cancer at 22 degrees.
Yes. Okay. So the last time we had Mercury square Jupiter, it was when, or no,
Mars square Jupiter?
I was thinking about when Mercury was in Sag opposite Jupiter in Gemini, and it was like so chaotic, right? Like I
Yes.
feel like any Mercury Jupiter combinations, especially when it's a hard aspect like this, can be really like information overload,
Yes.
and it can really wear you down. Like maybe in the beginning of the day, you are full of ideas and excitement, but
Mhm.
then you overdo it, you overcommit.
Mhm.
It can
Oversharing.
oversharing. Yeah. It can be great for learning, for expanding your mind, for opening up other people's minds, for standing up for your beliefs. And maybe that does, in true square fashion, like cause some tension, but maybe it also feels liberating in the process.
Hmm. Yeah. Or like a conflict of ideas, or you hurt someone's feelings. Uh,
Hmm.
Mercury and Libra people are sweet talkers. Wow. They really are. And I think about Jupiter and Cancer as an abundance of feels. So you could like, either use that to your benefit to like pull on someone's heartstrings, or I could see people, not agreeing on belief systems and getting into a little bit of a conflict.
Yeah. And something with your primary caregivers, your chosen family, because we have Jupiter in Cancer and then Mercury in Libra is those one-on-one relationships. So it just does feel like there's this heightened moment in an important relationship. And for some, of course, that could be exciting because Jupiter sometimes does bring excitement and positive developments, but for others, it could just be a more heightened or dramatic conversation.
Yes. And then in like speaking of Mercury and Libra, on October 3rd, Mercury and Libra opposes Chiron in Aries at 25 degrees. So that is hurt feelings.
Yes. Yes, this is going to bring us back to September 16th, which was the day that Mars and Libra formed an opposition with Chiron and Aries. And I know it oh so well because I had such a dramatic event take place in my family life. If you're
Mm.
listening to this, fuck you. Um, and
That's literally what you might say on a Mercury opposite Chiron. You
yeah,
know, like fuck you.
yeah. Uh, but it's going to bring you back to conversations and events that took place on that day and hurts and
Yeah.
pains and triggers that maybe you thought you had worked through. There's like new developments or you're reflecting on it, or words can totally sting today.
Mhm. Yeah, there could be some relationship things, like a dynamic in where you don't feel independent or codependent and you feel some sort of conflict with somebody.
Yeah.
Um, on October 4th, Venus in Virgo will conjunct the South Node in Virgo at 18 degrees. Ooh.
Oh,
Yeah, no,
okay.
I,
Normally I wouldn't have that response,
yeah,
but when you were just talking about that right-wing influencer
yes.
who passed away on the day of the sun in the South Node conjunction, and this is Venus is now tracing over that step, that spot, and Venus can be a general signifier of like femmes, the queer community, trans women. Yeah, I it makes me feel a little worried. Anytime that a planet meets the South Node, it's like this point of release or loss. On that day
Taking
for
our
me, yeah. And for me on that day where Mercury was opposite Chiron, or Mars was opposite Chiron, I had Venus was conjunct my South Node, and ended a relationship with a family member.
Mm-hmm.
So it is like this period of like loss and grieving, and that kind of energy can come up.
Yeah, so I normally don't report on these conjunctions with the South Node either, but after last month, it was the South Node, and then the very next day was Mercury South Node. And I just with the right-wing influencer on the Sun and then Mercury conjunct the South Node, one of my clients lost her job on that day. She's a journalist.
Mm,
Some of you might know her. Her name is Karen Attia. She was fired from her job at the Washington Post for
yes.
writing about the right wing influencer. And it was exactly on that day. And she's a journalist. So while some things might not be as serious as an unaliving, Venus and Virgo, since it's also fallen, feels like what you mentioned, like trans, femmes, marginalized people. It just doesn't feel good.
We'll
It's,
see.
yeah, we'll see.
I think if we are going to try to, if you do want to use this energy, this would be a great time to release any limiting beliefs that kind of harm your self-esteem.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, your perfectionism,
Hmm.
your self-critical, you're like being self-critical or judgmental on yourself because Venus also rules like beauty and value and confidence. It also rules money. So I'm wondering if they're going to like announce that we're officially in a financial crisis.
Ooh, good prediction.
I don't know. We'll see.
Hmm.
And or food, something with food. Virgo to me is like harvest.
Hmm. Yep.
Um, yeah. So just be aware on October 4th. And then on October 6th, Mercury enters Scorpio. And so Mars is already in Scorpio.
And they're working their way towards a conjunction. So
Mhm.
that won't happen till I think later this month, if not next month. But yeah, when Mercury is in Scorpio, it is the
Quiet.
detective. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And I think it gives us the mental capacity to face and embrace some of our shadows, both personally and in the collective. And
Mhm.
I would hope that this is a moment for people to reclaim their power personally, but also to remember our power collectively. Power becomes a big thing, for us to think about and to act on. And so maybe this can be a good time to kind of organize in the shadows offline, right? Like
Yes.
increasingly, it feels just more and more pointless being online.
Hmm. I love Mercury and Mars and Scorpio.
Hmm.
It's like peak investigative journalism, or like going into a rabbit hole and going into like the dark web and doing research. Okay, maybe not, it doesn't have to be dark web, but like doing deep research in something.
Hmm. Yep,
I love
totally.
this energy. Yeah, Mercury in Scorpio is said to be the most nonverbal placement. So these people who have Mercury in Scorpio tend to observe um and not it's not necessarily like a talking placement for Mercury,
Very
but
intuitive.
very intuitive
You act on your instincts.
yes,
Yeah.
and very focused,
Hmm.
fixed water.
Yep.
On the same day, there is a full moon in Aries at 14 degrees, and the ruler is Mars in Scorpio.
Yeah. And it's not really doing anything. So Mars that day isn't making any important connections. The moon itself can't see its ruler, so that's not super
Mhm.
helpful. But it is great that we have this full moon in Aries that's not an eclipse.
Mhm.
Um, I think, when the moon is in Aries, the sun is in Libra, you get this push and pull between me and we. So, just another opportunity to really reflect on your personal role in the collective. And also, I think on relational repair
Mhm.
and navigating conflicts in your close relationships. You and I were just talking about how if we are going to make it out the other side of the world, of everything that's unfolding right now, this poly crisis, this moment of terror, we need each other.
Mhm.
And that means the everyday people need to band together. And that is the left and the right. There's no such thing as left and the right. Like we need to come together. It's the billionaires who are putting us in this position. And I think that this could be a moment where if you have your differences with someone, start engaging in conversations. Like it
Mhm.
can move the needle, even if it feels small, or instead of throwing away an entire relationship like someone in my family did to me. And if you're listening to this, why are you still listening to this? I'm not bitter. I'm not bitter. Um, but, maybe engage in some conflict mediation.
Yeah. You're so funny. It's so interesting. This is why I like listening to other astrologers, because your delineation of the full moon in Aries, I think that is a healthy way to use this energy. I also feel like it feels like a very ambitious full moon too, where you prioritize your own needs and your dreams, because Aries is the sign of the self, and it is as my teacher Sam, our teacher says, FAFO, fuck around and find out. It is taking a risk, and if you are in this relational dynamic and you no longer have aligned values, this is the moment where you're maybe like, I think I'm going to go on my own, or I'm going to do it solo. And that Mars and Scorpio being the ruler is such a stealth and determined and almost like obsessive placement, right? Mars and Scorpio is so ambitious.
Mm-hmm.
And also Mars is this like cutting away energy, and So I could also see it the other way where you're like, okay, bye.
Yeah. Yeah. No, totally. It's going to be like a make it or break it moment. Like you
Yeah.
can either resolve and work it out, or you're like, this is absolutely not for me. And decisions are final, right? Mars is in Scorpio.
Mhm.
It's a fixed sign. Like
There's no
um,
going back.
there's no going back.
Mhm.
And it could also pop up as like a contract or an agreement or some other type of commitment in your life. But I think you're so right about the moon being in Aries and that being the priority and having that quality of like feeling empowered, courageous enough to take a stand. And
Mhm.
no matter where the rest of the chips fall in
Mhm.
that relationship, you are putting yourself first.
I have found Aries moons to be more Aries than Aries suns, if that makes sense. Because they have this like, they're more impulsive because they're driven by their emotions.
My dad was an Aries moon, and he would like famously always tell from a very young age, he would sit there and he'd be like, I'm getting angry. And he was also autistic, but I was like, thanks for telling me, but it really was helpful for me.
It
Like,
is helpful.
yeah, yeah.
Oh my God. My sister and I are watching this new K drama called Bon Appetit, Your Majesty.
Mhm.
And in the in the show, she's like, wait, do you have feelings for me? Like, do you like me? And I feel like I'm that person. I'm like, I don't know if it's my neurodivergence, but it's like, I need to know how you feel. Like, you have
Hmm.
to tell me.
Hmm. Yeah.
You like me? Are you
Yes.
mad at me? What's going on?
Yes. Yes. Be direct. They're
Be
very
direct.
forward, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I could feel the vibes, but I just like you to say it.
Hmm.
Also, this is the second deacon of Aries, right? Which is like the Three of Wands.
Hmm.
So there is some like expansion energy around this full moon.
Yeah.
You also wrote down it's loosely square to Jupiter in Cancer.
Right. So it's approaching a square to Jupiter in Cancer. That will be the next aspect, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that can bring about this quality of overdoing it. It can also feel like a crisis of beliefs.
Mm-hmm.
It could also bring a development regarding some of your goals,
Mm-hmm.
you know? So some of that might fold into.
Yes. Okay, on October 7th, Mercury in Scorpio will square Pluto in Aquarius at 1 degree.
So this is bringing us back to September 24th when Mars formed a square with Pluto. So similar themes and topics are coming up. It's going to be more like certain information is concealed or revealed. It's going to be
Mm-hmm.
taboo topics. It's going to be like redacted information from secret FBI files.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe the Epstein victims finally get their list read or something like that. Um, and it can also be an opportunity to change your habits and the way you speak to yourself as
Mm-hmm.
well.
Yep.
But it does create this like obsessive thinking, a fixation, which can
Especially.
really stir up anxiety and just have you kind of replaying the same thought or theme or pattern. But it can help you if you're self aware in that moment. It's like an opportunity to break free from the past once and for all.
Yes. It's giving disclosures. It's giving
Yes.
like, yeah, like you said, secret FBI files being leaked or something.
Hmm. Hmm.
Or even sex scandals.
Yes.
Um, but in like not a cute way.
Yes.
Not that they're ever cute, but
Hmm.
um yeah, I mean, I guess the like you mentioned, the most helpful way to use this energy is also like healing work. Do you still do tapping?
Sometimes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I feel like Mercury with the hands, the
Hmm.
tapping and
Yeah. Something somatic.
somatic healing
Hmm.
would be really good on this day. Um, and yeah, on October 8th, Venus in Virgo will sextile Jupiter in Cancer at 23 degrees.
Well, this is a sigh of relief. This is a little cute.
Mm-hmm.
We have the two benefics meeting up.
Mm-hmm.
I think um, this feels like some sort of development that feels grounding and brings a sense of safety and security and kind of connects you back into the present moment in your physical body. Just when I see Virgo and Cancer, I just get
Yeah.
that kind of essence from
Health.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like health issues, health things. I always find that people who are in beauty and fashion have Venus and Virgo.
Hmm.
They pay attention to the detail, right?
Hmm.
And so, yeah, whenever I see Venus and Virgo with Cancer, I feel like this is doing something for your health, getting, I'm trying to think of what I would do on this day. Something like
It's
a
a
spa.
great day for spell work,
Oh,
right?
and spell work. Yeah,
Yeah,
of
like
course.
using the tangible elements of earth, like get
Yes.
some dirt, get some water, do a water spell. Um, use the sun, like
Mhm.
there, yeah, I would say
Mhm.
do some spell work that is rooted back to your senses or the
Mhm.
elements.
Yes. And then on October 11th, Venus and Virgo will oppose Saturn in Pisces at 26 degrees.
Wah wah. This is going to bring us back to yesterday, September 21st, the eclipse, the new moon and solar eclipse in Virgo. And, similar themes and topics might emerge around that time as well.
Yeah. I was telling Stephanie a story of how I was the Saturn. So sometimes you can mitigate harsh transits by being the embodiment of that malefic, if that makes sense. So I was the Saturn to my parents because Saturn is in my fourth house. So I told them that they couldn't go out on that day. So I honored Saturn by being Saturn.
Mm.
So sometimes, Venus in Virgo opposing Saturn in Pisces, you might need to you might have to create a boundary with somebody like a friend or a femme figure in your life. And so you could be the Saturn.
Yeah, you might get a no or feel more disappointed, or you might be harder on yourself. This is
Yeah.
like something where you like, I don't know, you just kind of beat yourself up in some way. Knock it
Mhm.
off if you do. Disrupt that pattern in the moment.
Yes. And oh, what's so interesting too is on that day, my friend texted like a group chat of us and was like, I'm struggling. I need help. Like, where have y'all been? And so that opposition, right? Like she was kind of being like honest about something. So I think Saturn also brings a reality check
Hmm.
in and I'm just thinking of Venus and like relationships. You might just be like, "Oh, maybe I have been a terrible friend and I need to check in on somebody." Yeah.
That's a good call out to check in on. Always important to check in on your community, but especially that day.
Mhm. And then on October 13th, Venus will enter Libra. Yay. I
Yay. And what a busy day.
Mhm.
Okay. So we have Venus entering Libra right away. Venus goes on to form an opposition with Neptune in Aries the same day at 0 degrees, the world point, which we know collectively is going to mean big stories, headlines. And then it's the same day that Pluto stations direct in Aquarius, which will bring us back to, I think it was May 4th, but it might have been May 3rd.
Mhm.
So we have all of these interesting energies that are aligning on the same day. I think, typically when we look at Venus and Libra, we're like, oh, it's great, great for relationships, more harmony. Um, but it really feels kind of the opposite of that, opposite Neptune. It's like, whoa, like putting people on pedestals, feeling confused, missing
Mhm.
red flags,
False flags.
false prophets,
Mhm.
right?
Yes. Just
Um,
not knowing what's going on. They could
yeah.
also be, they could also be they, and you know who they are. They could also be passing laws
Mm,
that day, and you're just like, what does this mean? Right?
hmm.
Just trying to
Yeah.
think of the worst case scenarios.
Or like a distraction, kind of like how I believe the right wing influencer has been distracting us from many, many important things that are
Yes.
ongoing in the world and in our country.
Yes.
Could kind of highlight that.
I just like Venus in Libra if anybody's doing any magic. I like magic using a very dignified Venus. If you're doing elections, um, Stephanie will teach you how to do those in her class.
That's right. That's right. Plug. Love it.
Love it. That's the only reason why I'm like, yay, because I'm waiting for a dignified planet.
Yes, yes. So we will have some really sweet moments with Venus and Libra for sure. And it's there until November 6th. So it's just really that first day where we're like, whoa, what? And then after that, it kind of it's out of the way, or it doesn't interact with the malefics anymore or the
Mhm.
outer planets. And then it just is going to kind of like cruise control after that.
Mhm. Yeah, but whenever planets do change signs like that with Venus and then it's Pluto is stationing direct, something is changing
Yeah.
and we can probably hear some news on that day.
Yeah. And
We
then
will yeah, we'll probably hear something.
And with Pluto, it's also going to bring up some of those themes we were talking about with Mercury square Pluto, where it's like a disclosure, a power
Mhm.
dynamic,
Mhm.
um, abuses, corruption, all kind of like the underbelly of the world, right?
Yes. Speaking of, nobody should be buying a new iPhone.
Yes, correct. It
Why?
contributes to on for anyone, any listeners, I'm sure you all know if you've been tuning in because we talk about it. But for anyone who does not know, Apple is complicit in genocide. And in the Congo, they are using humans and children to extract from the earth, and it's fueling this insane genocide that's ongoing.
Mhm.
And it's layered too, right? There's all these people who want the resources and the minerals from the Congo, and it's contributing to this larger genocide.
Yeah. Meanwhile, like if you're really human, you would just trade fairly for the minerals and not force them to work there. And so I just wanted to bring this up because I think with Pluto and Aquarius, this is like our age of revolution. And with revolution comes technological advances too. And yes, we have the convenience of these technologies, but at the cost of human lives. I just actually bought my first time ever a refurbished laptop from Back Market.
Hmm.
And because as Stephanie knows, my my laptop is from 2015. Like I haven't bought a laptop in 10 years because I was like so bothered by all of the things that are happening in the Congo.
Hmm.
And it doesn't mean you can never buy new technology, right? It just means
Correct.
you need to buy the newest one.
Right.
And I basically bought almost a brand new to me laptop and it was cheaper and it's refurbished and I just feel like that aligns with my values. So
Yes.
back market
Our
into it.
back market. Yeah. And our money is our power. And this is how we affect change. Like boycotts do work.
Yes.
And divestment does work. And yeah, obviously, we live in an age of technology. We're not saying like drop your phone altogether. Like it's just part of life and it is what it is. However, there are ways in which you can do it without contributing to active child enslavement and genocide.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes. I just can't watch another child like be harmed. It's like making me crazy.
Mhm.
On October 14th, Venus and Libra will trine Uranus and Gemini at 0 degrees. And I really like these next couple days because there's like a grand air trine. And I feel like those days are good for direct actions, meeting people, community organizing,
Yes,
some,
all of the above.
yeah, social justice.
Yep. And then we have Venus and Libra forming a trine with Pluto in Aquarius as well. So that feels like relationships are healing. Maybe you build community with someone or a group that feels transformative. Maybe you feel like you're making a direct impact and that feels healing or cathartic in some way. This is definitely like innovative energy as well with Uranus involved. Some people might want to take a risk in their relationships or, you know, try new things in their partnerships or meet someone unexpected,
Mhm.
but it's supportive energy.
It's making connections because they're all air signs.
Mhm.
So if you're a community organizer, I would use October 14th as a day.
Wink, wink. Yes. Hmm. And then it's great because built leading into October 16th, we have the Sun in Libra square Jupiter in Cancer. And that also feels very supportive for community organizing. So that like pocket of time from the
Mhm.
14th through the 16th um, feels like a good time to take action.
Yes, I agree. Yes. Was there anything else you wanted to say about the Sun in Libra square Jupiter in Cancer?
Oh, a development on your dreams and goals,
Mhm.
a moment of maybe embodying your beliefs and your values. If that's something you've struggled with, this could be a moment where you really identify and shine, project that out into the world instead of just thinking about it internally.
Mhm. Yes.
What about you?
Um, I'm trying to think because the sun is in its fall in Libra, so Jupiter is exalted. It's in an overcoming square. So, I didn't know how to make what to make of that. Like an abundance of
Mm.
like, I don't know.
It could kick up insecurities. It could kick
Yeah.
up self-criticism for sure. If you find yourself being a little too critical or self-critical that day. And it would make sense because October 17th, the next day, the sun in Libra forms an opposition with Chiron in Aries. And that also is feels very like there's a flashlight on your insecurities, right?
Mhm.
Your woundings, your core identity woundings.
Yes. Yes. So the sun in Libra opposite Chiron in Aries. We also had Mercury opposing Chiron in Aries earlier in the month. Chiron in Aries. eh.
Busy. I
Yeah.
know. I know. It's just like hovering next to my midheaven. I'm like, get out of here.
Oh my gosh, that makes sense though.
Mhm.
Yeah, Chiron has been opposing my Saturn and Pluto, and it's similar. It's been just bringing up like childhood stuff and like
Mhm.
where it is in the house.
Mhm.
Um, so I'm like, ugh, I'm just like looking
It's
for like,
exhausting. Yeah,
yeah, it
especially
is.
when you're getting hit personally in your chart by it.
Mhm.
And it's a busy time for Chiron and Aries because we're in Libra season. So we have all these planets that are just like mingling with it.
Yes. And October 18th, Mars and Scorpio will trine the North Node in Pisces, which I think is really cute
Hmm.
at 17 degrees.
Is this the day that there's going to be like another No Kings protest? Have you seen that?
Oh, I didn't know. I don't know.
I thought I saw that. I don't know.
Off with their head. Um, but I like this because it feels very empowered.
Hmm.
The North Node, it's I don't know I don't know, because like Hellenistic astrology doesn't give that much weight to the nodes, but in Vedic astrology, they do. It's like our destiny.
Hmm.
And so does evolutionary astrology. And it just feels like with such a dignified Mars and Scorpio trine that there's, action being taken on the part of our fate and our destiny. It feels
Taking,
really, yeah.
yeah, taking action that can be healing, that's universal, acting on
Mhm.
behalf of the collective.
Yes.
That could definitely show up.
Hmm.
Decisions that you make, actions that you take that day might also feel fated.
Hmm. Yeah. So you're talking about October 19th. Mercury and Scorpio will trine the North Node, and then that's the day of the Mercury and Scorpio and Mars and Scorpio conjunction at 19 degrees.
Hmm.
And I think this is a great day to make a decision that you feel very like strongly about.
To do a cord cutting ritual
Hmm.
in a bath.
Yes.
That's my favorite place to do them.
Oh,
Just
I like
hot,
wait
hot
in the
tip.
bath.
Yeah, I
Oh, I like
always do them in the bath. Um, as someone who was born with Mercury conjunct Mars.
Yes,
Uh,
give us some tips.
it, in Hellenistic astrology, we are described as thieves and liars and horrible, horrible things. But I think it it can help you. Like you do not mince words. Like you mean
Hmm.
what you say.
Hmm.
It's great for editing, right? Like I've been an editor in my life. That's like my non-magical resume, right? Like so it can be great for any type of editing, whether it is actually working on something written or editing your closet or editing your relationships. Um, and it does, like you said, it makes you very decisive.
Hmm.
It's going to give you the confidence and the courage to act on your ideas, right? And it can also have you act impetuously. Okay. It can make us feel a little impatient. Let's not lie.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, it feels like whatever, there's just strong, decisive energy in the sky.
Hmm. But I would say that I don't get that like liar thief energy from you, obviously, because we wouldn't be friends. But you do what you say.
Mm.
Like when you say you're going to do something, you do it, and that's why like you're a dependable person. You're like,
Like,
and I do find them Scorpios to be like that. I feel when they mean to do something, they do it to like the umpteenth degree.
mm-hmm.
They're
And,
very intense.
and I will say it can make you mean. Like you can say, like the things that you say can be really mean.
Yeah.
I remember the first time
You have cutting words.
you have cutting words. I remember the first time that Sam read my chart. He saw that and was like, "What?" Because I was like always so quiet in his class. And he was like, I can't remember like exactly what he said, but he was like, "Can you be like really mean?" And I was like, "Oh, you have no idea. You have no idea how mean I can be." If I want to, right? Like it's like a
Yeah.
light switch, right? Like I
Yes.
think I'm a kind person. I try to be
You
a kind
are.
person. But when it comes to being like protective,
Hmm.
right? Because that's also that Mars quality. Like if someone you love is being threatened, something you care deeply about is being threatened, you don't mince your words. And yeah,
You can cut a bitch.
you could, yeah,
Well, like when somebody has done you wrong, they're like on your shit list. I
correct.
have seen that.
I
I
got a
have.
long list.
Yeah. It is like cutting a severing of a contract too.
Hmm.
Or like a relationship. Because I consider Mercury, Venus, and Mars to be relational planets.
Yep.
But I also think this is a great day. Like if you're deciding to cut someone away, this is like you said, a good cord cutting day, a good like unfollow sesh on Instagram.
Yeah.
Put
Because your
somebody in
energy,
the freezer.
yeah, yeah. Our energy is
10,
our,
10 people in my freezer right now.
yes, yes. You know, our energy is our most important resource, most valuable resource. So it's like who and what you spend it on. Like pay attention today and snip away the shit that is draining you.
Yes. Wow, we really like that transit, huh? Because we
Yeah.
spent a lot of time on it.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to Mars and Scorpio. I'm not gonna lie.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah. I'm liking it so far. We're a couple hours in. I think it's great so far.
Oh yeah, I absolutely love this placement. It also helps me focus my energy because I can be scatterbrained sometimes.
Mhm.
And for those of us who have Scorpio placements, it's lovely.
Mhm.
So on October 21st, Mercury will be in its pre-shadow in Scorpio at 20 degrees. The actual retrograde, I believe, is on November 9th in Sagittarius.
Yeah.
So you want to pay attention to 19 degrees to the rest of the sign.
Yep. Pay
Yeah.
attention to your Scorpio and your Sagittarius houses in your birth chart because certain themes and topics are going to pop up.
Mhm.
And Yeah, it's just like I find that the pre-retrograde shadow is almost messier than the
Same.
retrograde. It's like when all the shit is
Yes.
falling apart
Yes.
and like yes, you're getting the clues, but then during the retrograde you're trying to like sweep away and fix things, and then it's not until the post-retrograde where you're like, okay,
Mhm.
done.
I agree. I have the same experience. I think the retrograde period is for the review and recalibration.
Mm-hmm.
And then the post shadow is to take action on the things.
Mm-hmm.
But things always happen during the pre shadow for me.
Mm-hmm. So pay attention because
Hmm.
from now until November 9th, you're getting
Hmm.
clues.
Hmm. On October 21st, which is the same day, we have our new moon in Libra at 28 degrees. And the ruler
Yeah.
is Venus in Libra.
This one also, it just makes me feel really tired for two reasons. One, it's at like the very end of Libra, which feels, we were just talking about this. Anytime there's something important happening at the final degree of the sign or towards the end of the sign, it's exhausting. And
Hmm.
then this is in the third decan of Libra, which is the Four of Swords, which
Hmm.
is about rest,
Retreat. Yeah.
retreat.
Hmm.
Um, so this could feel like a crashing out moment. Um, it could be a moment where if there is some sort of, Libra themes are what is fair, what is just, fighting for peace. Libra doesn't just sit around waiting for peace, but it knows that fighting for peace requires daily effort and balance.
Hmm.
And if there is some sort of grave injustice that takes place around this time, maybe this is a moment to pause and recalibrate.
Hmm. Yes, I agree. It's a new moon, so it's also like you're setting intentions at this time. Maybe some of you want to be more active in social justice matters and you want to show up in a bigger way. At the end of the day, I think you were sort of like alluding to this that Venus is in a masculine sign, Libra. It's not like Taurus where it's like, oh, cozy vibes, you know?
Mm.
Libra is like it is I find Libra to be not cute. I don't know how else to say this. It is about it is about taking action because you're rooted in love for justice. It's not like kumbaya all the time.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
A lot of Libra people are in politics as well, and they're not like the nicest people.
There's definitely two sides to a Libra.
Yes, literally.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I don't know how I feel about this new moon in Libra because what we were saying about the full moon in Aries, every time we've had eclipses in Aries and Libra, there has been some ongoing escalation of Israel on Palestine. So I'm like, I have like PTSD,
Mm-hmm.
but this isn't obviously an eclipse. But Israel is a Libra rising. Benjamin Netanyahu is a Libra. His birthday is on this day. And
Oh,
it's just, yeah, it just, I don't know.
it's
I, yeah, I don't know how I feel.
it's also forming like it's out of sign, but it's gonna be forming a square to Pluto,
Mhm.
and uh, Israel's moon is in early degrees of Leo,
Mhm.
right? So this moon
Or
would tie that in.
yeah.
Um, I don't know. This doesn't feel like collectively the the best of new moons. It feels
Mhm.
like an ending, a release, a letting go, which is a lot of people talk about. You read about how new moons are times of new beginnings and setting
Mhm.
intentions. This one feels like you're clearing something out and then creating the space for something new to enter.
Yes.
But you gotta do kind of like similar to this last eclipse we just had.
Mhm. Oh, yeah.
Hmm.
Yes. A lot of purging energy.
Hmm.
Yes. So we shall see what this entails. And I do think that hopefully What I'm praying though is that at some point in this year there is a ceasefire. If this new moon is, in Venus and Libra, maybe inshallah, like that is what that means. But I feel like I've been saying that for 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully that's what it is.
Mm-hmm.
On October 22nd, Neptune retrograde will re-enter Pisces, and this will bring us back to March 29th. And so yeah, all the outer planets are going back into their previous signs.
Peak Delulu, right? It's your like final pass of, but it
Mm-hmm.
also it I hope that my highest hope for this is it helps people plug into the collective
Mm-hmm.
and lead with compassion.
Mm-hmm.
It can make
Yeah.
people more like spiritual warfare or feeling like emboldened to fight for your spirituality. I don't know. I feel like that also comes through with Neptune in Pisces and
Mm-hmm.
Neptune in Aries. But um, I just hope it really wakes up more of the collective and reminds everyone of how interconnected we are. That's my hope.
Yeah. That's my hope too. I would I would check yourself if you find yourself disassociating and trying to escape reality, because this is that like anaretic degree, Neptune and Pisces. You
You're gonna
can't
barf.
you're gonna you can't handle this reality, so you're trying to escape. And I think with the eclipses happening in Pisces and Virgo, the medicine is this that south node in Virgo. It's to root into your body and to connect yourself deeply into this reality. Stephanie and I were talking about how we don't believe in linear time,
Mm-hmm.
and that so many of us really believe that we win this time. And this is a delusional way of thinking. If you were like some regular like muggle
Mm-hmm.
and you're listening to us and you're like, what are they talking about? But we both deeply believe that the collective wins this, whatever this is.
It's not even like I feel it. It's
Yeah.
not even like a belief. It's just, it's an embodiment. Like it's a knowing
You
too,
know
right?
it.
It's like beyond just like, I hope, I think it's like, no, I can
Yeah.
just see, I can feel it.
Mhm. Like it's already happened
Mm-hmm.
in this time, in a timeline that we are converging.
Yeah.
And so I think Neptune being about imagination and envisioning, I think all of us can do that when it goes back into Pisces. And
Mm-hmm.
then when it goes into Aries, that's when we take action on
We
these things.
fight.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
we fight for it. On the same day, the sun enters Scorpio. So we are officially in Scorpio season. And yeah,
Spooky season begins.
spooky season begins. This is like the best time of year.
Talk to your ancestors, do, ancestral veneration, elevation. If you don't know what those things are, Google them or the way that your ancestors practice them. It is so healing. Like spirits on the other side still carry their traumas and their pain and even their like bigotry with them.
Mhm.
And so in working with them after they've crossed over, especially through ancestral veneration, the practice of that, you can help clear them of that so they can benefit and help you and the collective and show up fully with like a pure heart and presence. And we need that. There's too many colonizing spirits who have crossed over who are still just exactly as they are. And there's no sacred rituals for death. And Scorpio is all about death, like here in the West, there's no death is not, I volunteer for hospice and like I can't tell you how many times I've worked with someone who has no one to sit with them as they die. There's just no respect for the end of life. It's very sad. And um, so yeah, just hot plug Caitlin Grania, their ancestral veneration download PDF guide um, is so game changing. And I would say, like, if you're interested in starting some of this work, that's a great place to start.
Mhm. And you're doing this work now. So maybe one day you can share your story because it's really like your talk about Mercury and Mars and Scorpio, like the deep dive you've done, like that is so interesting. So Stephanie has been doing this work herself
Hmm.
and can attest to the power of it.
Yeah.
Yes. So October 23rd, Jupiter in Cancer will square Chiron in Aries at 24 degrees.
Sad,
So,
sad, sad.
yeah, expansion of feelings, hurt feelings.
Yeah. Yes. Um, but it could also be a moment, a pivotal moment that changes someone's belief system, even if the conversation is uncomfortable.
Yeah. I constantly think about like the signification of Chiron in Aries and how like there's okay, it's not a war, but it's a genocide and there's so many children being murdered and that Jupiter in Cancer square Chiron in Aries makes me feel that way. Like when is it ever just going to stop? Like how many children have to be murdered in front of our faces for, clearly 50,000 wasn't enough.
Hmm.
And it's just, it really is just like a war on children, it feels.
Yep. The next generation.
The next generation. And even like we didn't obviously mention this in the news recap, but there was a school shooting on the same day as that right-wing influencer. And yeah, just the obsession with guns in this country, and there's no like, regulation on these things. That's what Chiron and Aries kind of felt like to me.
Hmm. Yeah, because Jupiter in Cancer is nurturing.
Yeah. It's also nationalism.
It is. Yeah.
Yeah. And and that's what fascism is. It's like a extreme version of nationalism.
Hmm.
On October 24th, womp womp.
Yeah.
October
Okay.
24th, the sun in Scorpio will square Pluto in Aquarius at 1 degree. So you have this natal placement.
I do. You're right. Um, yeah, it can be, it can definitely, it's a moment where you're faced with your shadows and what makes you uncomfortable. And I think it's also an opportunity to alchemize and transform and reclaim your power. And I think when we have these like harsh Pluto activations, the wisdom in it and the beauty in it is running towards your fear. Because when
Mhm.
you keep avoiding it, it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. But when you confront it, there's always some sort of like some riches on the other side. Pluto
Mhm.
is the lord of the underworld, but also rules riches because like when you dig into the earth, what do you find? You find these beautiful minerals and resources. And so I think, yes, could you be activated on this day? Absolutely, personally. But it could also mark a moment of empowerment. And sometimes it really does just show up in a more positive way of like, wow, like patting yourself on your back, like I've evolved, I've entered my next era, like I did that. Like it could be a moment of accomplishment.
Mhm. Yeah, and Pluto brings up the extremes and it does bring up fears for
Mhm.
sure.
Mhm.
Oh gosh. Um the same day on October 24th, Mercury in Scorpio will trine Jupiter in Cancer at 24 degrees. This is sweet,
This
sweet
is,
messages.
yeah, great to have in the backdrop of the day. It can help with your mindset, can bring you a sense of support, and
Healing.
yeah, bring positive news or ideas or comfort your way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like that. And so October, so similar to like the middle of October, it was like October 14th, 16th. Now we have grand water trines. We have October 24th with Mercury in Scorpio trine Jupiter in Cancer. October 25th, we have Mercury in Scorpio trine Saturn in Pisces. And then October 27th, we have Mars in Scorpio trine Jupiter in Cancer. And then 29th, Mercury in Scorpio trine Neptune in Pisces. This all feels like really beautiful, I think.
It feels smooth sailing. So like coming
Yeah.
out of, I mean, I feel like still literally in the madness of eclipse season. We're only a couple hours post, but this just feels more supportive. Like things are moving along, you're making progress, your voice is being heard, your ideas are being seen. Um, People are leading with their hearts. There's compassionate interactions on the 29th with Neptune's involvement. Mars and Jupiter, when they form a trine together, that also, which is happening on the 27th, that gives you courageous and bold action,
Mhm.
to stand up for what you believe in or what matters most, but also to take bold risks on your dreams. So
Yeah.
it feels like just a really nice pocket of time.
Yeah. Like Mercury and Mars making moves with these trines.
Hmm.
It's like they seem very supportive, things are happening. Yeah,
Hmm.
I like this. And then on October 29th, Mercury enters Sagittarius. Get ready for the preachy people.
Yes. Yes. Hey, I get way more preachy when Mercury's in Sagittarius. I'm not immune to
Oh
it.
my gosh.
Yes. Yes. People are speaking first and thinking later.
hmm Yeah, Mercury is in its detriment in Sagittarius or depression. And so when you meet a Mercury and Sagittarius person, this person has big ideas, right? They're very like preachy, dogmatic. They want you to believe what they believe. And that's why it's like kind of annoying sometimes when you meet people like this, right? Because you're like, shut up.
And they may not have the follow through,
Yeah.
right? And yeah, but they believe in themselves. So they're like, why don't you believe in me? And it's like, because you couldn't even
Yes.
call me back on time when we made plans, you know?
Yeah.
Um,
So
they're
true.
they're also like totally comedians. You see a lot of
Yes, it's so
comedians that
funny.
have Mercury and Sagittarius, and you see a lot of singers with Mercury and Sagittarius, that Jupiter ruled voice, your vocals. Um, so yeah, some people are funny when Mercury is in Sag, but it can also be like foot in your mouth, like
Yeah.
really hurting feelings, it's that can pop up too.
Yeah, that's so true. And then on the same day, this is the first quarter moon in Aquarius at 6 degrees.
Yeah, so this will just bring us back to that want new moon in Libra
Mhm.
on the 21st and new developments. Whatever you were thinking around that time, now you are taking fixed and decisive action because it's
Mhm.
coming through in the fixed signs here.
Mhm. And I'm an Aquarius moon, so hello.
Cute.
Um, on the same day, Mars and Scorpio will trine Saturn in Pisces at 25 degrees. So, did we already see this? Or no, I think it was Mercury that trined Saturn in Pisces on
Hmm.
the 25th. Okay. I
Yeah,
like
so
this, like locking in.
yep, keeps you grounded,
Mhm.
helps you take sustained action, make commitments on long-term plans, that kind of thing. Good time to sign a contract.
Yes. So Stephanie and I both took I'm still taking Sam Reynolds' horary and electional astrology class. So when you pick auspicious dates, you want to have the malefics like speaking nicely to each other.
Hmm.
And this would be a great day to do something when you want like your will or your action to have sustainable like be long term or have sustainable power. Is it sustainable? Sustained power.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And then on the same day, Mercury in Sagittarius will oppose Uranus and Gemini at 0 degrees.
Sound the alarms. This feels so chaotic.
Yeah. It's what the chaos demons are unhinged
Yeah.
today.
Yes. Yeah. Unexpected events, like
News.
news will be a little wild. someone else will probably lose their talk show around this time.
Probably.
Censorship, I don't know, just like shock and awe for mercurial figures. And in your life, things are just like not going to plan. Like don't expect for your schedule to be just normal today. Like try to go with the flow. You might also have like erratic energy. You might feel really energized or overstimulated or anxious. Your mind might be moving a mile a minute.
Yes, and girl, I would not fly on this day.
Mm-mm. That's a good
Remember,
advice.
remember the last Mercury and Sag last year when all those planes were crashing?
Oh,
No,
I didn't.
Mercury and Sag time last year.
Oh my
And
God.
I was just like, I'm never gonna fly when Mercury is in Sagittarius.
Oh, especially opposite Uranus. That does feel,
Yeah.
yeah,
No, thanks.
yeah.
And then the very next day, Mercury in Sagittarius will sextile Pluto in Aquarius at 1 degree.
A better day to fly if you must.
Yeah.
Yeah. Healing conversations, changing your habits. Again, this is like hopefully finding some sort of grounding after whatever chaotic information or conversations took place the day before.
Hmm. Yes. And yeah, so another day to look out for is October 29th. That seems to be a very busy transit day
Hmm.
for everybody. So that is the October forecast
A
and
long one.
a long one. And October is my favorite month of the year. What's your
Yes.
favorite month of the year?
August.
Um,
It's my birthday.
okay.
You know?
But October is my favorite. I love it in New York. I love it going anywhere. It's spooky month
I
and
know. I do love that it's
I
spooky
love
month.
it. Oh, I
You
love
can
it.
just feel the veil thinning.
Yes,
So
yes.
soak it
This
up.
special in the air.
Work your magic. Hex someone if you feel like it. Maybe someone, a public figure. I don't know.
Oh my
Just,
God. And we didn't even get to that story of how the
yeah,
Etsy witch that hexed the right-wing influencer,
correct.
um, and how that might have worked, might not worked. I don't know. Sam, our teacher, believes that there's not good enough witches out there to actually pull that off.
Yeah,
But I think that sometimes like someone's hexing matched with someone's karma when they come together at the right time. I don't know, because he also said it out loud. He has karma. I don't know. I
I
feel
think
like we can't discount the Etsy witch.
I think if there's enough collective energy and intention that's shared, it could
Mhm.
have the impact. But if it's like one individual who's not directly tied to that person, it's harder
Yes.
to make that energetic contact.
Yes.
Hmm.
So take that to heart when you're doing your hexing.
Yeah, send a group chat out before you decide who you pick. That's what we're going to take away from
This
this.
is a version of Stephanie we want to see.
Love it.
Okay, well, thank you so much. We'll see you next month.
We'll
Bye.
see you. Bye.